had this idea for a fine art piece for a while. This idea of looking in the mirror and not always recognizing the person that you see looking back at you. And this is from a couple different perspectives. First, because I have lost about 65 pounds, and a lot of times when I look in the mirror, it is bizarre seeing this thinner, not plus-sized version of myself. I had grown so accustomed to seeing myself as, the girl in the 3XL outfits, my rounder face and fuller figure. So to look in the mirror and see a slimmer face shape and body shape, and even to just go to the store and buy standard large size clothes felt so foreign to me. So I liked the idea of creating an image that relayed this idea of looking in the mirror and not recognizing myself. But in the greater scheme of things, this also correlates to another idea, and it's ultimately why this piece you're seeing me edit now isn't the one that I chose to be the final image. I wanted you to see that sometimes I have an idea and it doesn't work out the way I expect, and so I'll quote unquote scrap it. This was one of those instances where I created an entire image and I wasn't feeling it like I wanted to. So I started over, and I'll explain why. So I'm sure we've all had experiences where we react in a way where we don't recognize who we are. So, for example, I tend to be a pretty well-balanced person. I'm fairly calm most of the time, very logical. I don't tend to get angry. Angry isn't my natural response. Honestly, sadness is probably the first place that I will go. But if you're like me, you may have had moments in your life where you reacted in a way that feels kind of foreign to you, feels different. Like, obviously it's you, but for some reason, it's also not you. In our road through infertility, this has happened to me a couple of times. You've seen it portrayed in other images throughout this series, like rage, when there would be moments where I would just be so furious, and it's not who I am. That's not my normal response. And in those moments, it's like you don't recognize who you are. I think we all experience this in different ways. Maybe it's when we go through bouts of depression, or maybe it is rage or sorrow, or whatever it may be. I think we all have experiences of this where something happens where we elicit a response that isn't our normal, and we kind of step back after the fact and look at ourselves and just think, what was that? Or who am I? And I think it's good for us to evaluate those moments, to try and figure out where they come from and why we reacted that way, because it is a part of who we are, even if we don't recognize it in the moment. Even if we don't approve of the reaction, it deserves to be felt and understood. And so this is me analyzing those parts of myself that don't feel like me, or that I might not fully understand. Trying to understand those sides of me better. Trying to figure out who this girl is.